blending research and practice, enhancing quality teaching in the modern classroom. The intellectual fervor and shared insights have been truly remarkable, and I trust you're all feeling both invigorated and ready to embrace new perspectives for our classrooms. As we kick off this third day, brimming with the promise of deeper engagement, it is my profound privilege to introduce our distinguished keynote speaker. We are indeed honored to have Dr. Suhan Mendel, Professor at Manipal School of Commerce and Economics, with us today. Welcome you, sir. Now I request Professor Shilpa K, HOD of BPA Department at Srinivas Institute of Management and Commerce, to kindly laudably welcome, sir. Dr. Suhan Mendel is a luminary in the field, possessing an exceptional academic trajectory and a forward-thinking approach that will undoubtedly illuminate our understanding of how scholarly inquiry seamlessly integrates with pedagogical excellence. His presence here is a true distinction for us. Sir, and now to formally present our keynote speaker and offer us more intricate understanding of his remarkable professional odyssey and significant contributions, I invite Professor Akshata to provide introduction of Dr. Suhan Mendel. Over to you, ma'am.
It is with great pride and privilege that I introduce a truly extraordinary individual, a name synonymous with academic excellence, research innovation and global collaboration. Our guest speaker today is none other than Dr. Suhan Mendel, Additional Professor at the prestigious Manipal School of Commerce and Economics, part of the Manipal Academy of Higher Education. Dr. Suhan's academic journey is nothing short of inspiring. With a PhD in marketing, an MSc in psychology, and multiple degrees including an MBA, MCOM, MPhil, and even a diploma in mechanical craftsmanship, he exemplifies what it means to be a lifelong learner and an interdisciplinary thinker. Over the past 24 years in academia, he has mentored generation of students, having guided more than 400 MBA scholars and currently supervising 4 PhD researchers. His passion for student growth knows no bounds, and that evident in the way he combines theory with real-world insight. As a profile researcher, Dr. Suhan has authored over 50 research publications, including more than 25 Scopus Index papers. His work spans a wide spectrum, from brand loyalty and sustainable development to artificial intelligence, fintech adoption, and healthcare marketing. These are not just academic exploration, but impactful contributions that resonate across borders. He has presented his research at over 30 international conferences in countries like Germany, Australia, Malaysia, Oman, Dubai, Indonesia, and Taiwan, and has served as a moderator, chairperson, and convener at major global events. Most recently, his paper on sustainable transportation was honored with the Best Paper Award at the 2024 International Conference on Green Economy in Dubai. But Dr. Suhan's brilliance does not stop at research. He is an innovator with 4 international patents to his name, including a data science and AI-based mental health detection system and a productive tool using face recognition. He has also worked on strategic consultancy projects with reputed organizations like Konkan Railways, Anapoya Hospital, and SUEZ Water India, applying academic frameworks to solve real industry problems. As a coordinator at International Affairs and Collaboration at MAHE, Dr. Suhan is building global bridges, enabling students to study abroad at partner university in Netherlands, France and Australia. With all these things remain clear, Dr. Suhan Mendon is not just an academic, he is a teacher, a researcher, a global collaborator, an innovator, and above all, a mentor who believes in empowering minds and changing lives. It is an absolute honor to have him with us today. With great pleasure, I now invite Dr. Suhan Mendon to deliver the keynote address for the session on the topic Designing a Research Blueprint, Goals, Literature Review, Methodological Framework and Questionnaire Development. Sir, the stage is yours.
Good morning to all of you. Regarding my achievement, whatever she has told, all possible because of Mahe, where I have contributed for nearly 25 years. I am associated with the Municipal Academy of Higher Education from past 25 years. Past 25 years I am associated with the Municipal Academy of Higher Education. And since I am working for such a prestigious university, it has given wide opportunity for me to develop my personality. It's not only for me, each and every individual who joins as a teacher in our university get all kind of the privileges. That is why it is possible to reach to that level. So I must say thank you to Manipal Academy of Higher Education. And today I am here to talk about on the literature review. And I am sure that few of you are completed your PhD and few are in process of completing your PhD and few are just a beginner. But research begins only after PhD. Because many people do research, but after research you realize that, before research you realize that your work is great. But after research you feel that there are so many errors in your PhD work. So you start improving that. That is how you grow with your research. That's the most important thing. Because there is no end for the research. Now, as a researcher, the most important thing is thinking. How strong you are in your thinking and how critically you think after reading one article, after reading second article. The thinking is the most important thing in the research, not exactly doing same thing what others are done. One paper we refer and we are going to do the same kind of the thing, then where is the research? Identify something new which people are not done. That is how the research takes place. Because thinking is more important thing, and the positive thinking and critical thinking will lead to the good research. Thinking and thought, the thinker and thought are not the separate process. Thinker is a thought. You agree with me? Thinker and thought are not the separate process. Thinker is a thought. That is how the thought comes to our mind. And critical thinking is very important in research. You agree with me? Right? And with this critical thinking, we must give an end for thinking also. When we give an end for our thought process, see, when we read one article, we get lot of things in that article, and different kind of the thought comes to your mind. And that is where you will start identifying what is written in this article and what need to be done. Are you going to do the same kind of the research? Or are you doing research because there is a compulsion to do the research? Do you have a passion to do the research? Then only you should do the research. Because somebody is doing research, so I will also do the research. Because college is forcing me, that is why I will do the research. It's not exactly the research. Your involvement 100% in the research is needed. People are not ready to read the paper, but they want to do the PhD. This is also happens in many places. They are not ready to read one research article thoroughly. To understand one research article, you must read that at least 5 times. Then only you will understand that. Even after reading 5 times, some of the article you will never understand. That is also happens. So reading is the most important thing which I have seen with many scholars, no habit of reading. But if I approach them, they say that, sir, I have read 50 to 100 articles. And when I ask what is the meaning of this article, this word, I don't know. What is the methodology they have followed, what is that means, I don't know. The statistical analysis speaks about amosia. What do you mean by amos? So that I don't know. But you read, what you read then? The most of the people earlier, what they used to do is introduction and the conclusion they read and they say that I read. Or now the artificial intelligence are available in the market easily. You put the author name and tell them summarize this article, it will summarize, and you bring it that and show that, sir, this is what the person has spoken, this is what the literature review is. That is not a literature review. If the artificial intelligence is doing that, then what is our role? I have gone to some of the universities where they told me to sit in a DAC, Doctoral Advisory Committee, and their proposal comes to us 10 days before. One of the proposals, there are 65% of artificial intelligence. Student presented, then I asked, 65% is artificial, what is your contribution? Because if you are using Turnitin, it will tell us about the plagiarism as well as the artificial intelligence percentage, which all the sources you are captured. Nowadays, those artificial intelligence which are available freely, it will tell my name and the Suhan has spoken like this. But if you go to that article, Suhan has never written that article. It is creating all dummy names. Please see that. Don't put those things, because when we go to the references, you will not put my name, because my name, there is no article related to that. Now, many artificial intelligence are there where everything comes as a dummy only. That is not the exact thing it is showing. There is DeepSeek, something like that. In that it will mention so many authors' name. But after that you refer that author in your Google Scholar or in Scopus or Emerald or somewhere, you don't even find that author name. So that is why you need to be very careful, because whenever that proposal comes to us, we will check those authors' name also. Whether the person, first of all I check the plagiarism with the Turnitin software. It definitely tells how much percentage plagiarized and how much percentage artificial intelligence are used. And which all the sources you are taken, that also it tells. So we need to be extremely careful. There are sometimes we rejected the final PhD of some other university because we asked the soft copy also. When we checked, it shows about the artificial intelligence more than 50%. Then we write that and reject their thesis. That happened, many times it happens. Because people think that by using that, if you are using that, then what is your brain doing? Are you not giving sufficient work for the brain when you do the research? What happened to your semantic brain and the episodic brain? What you are doing with that semantic memory and the episodic memory? What happened to your autobiographical memory then? See, if you are not using those, if you are not using your memory properly for thinking process, then there is no use of doing research. First of all, our mind is drugged over somebody's ideas and views always. I take class and I say that according to Philip Kotler, marketing is this. And the student write the same thing. Their mind is drugged towards what I told. I read from the textbook and I am producing that. My mind is drugged towards the textbook which I have referred. Our mind is always drugged towards somebody's ideas and we say that beautiful, the person has written beautiful. What is your critical thinking on that? Why you are writing as it is? You write as it is and below you tell the interpretation, right? That is not there. There are some gold medalists, our student, as it is they will write. Where is the critical thinking? Who won them? In corporate, if you take the ranked student, if they are only the bookworms, see the thinking process is very important. Thinking and thinker and thought are not the separate processes. Thinker is a thought. And the thinker will give an end for the thought also. When you will give the end for the thought? When you are going to give end for the thought? I think my voice is audible for everybody. So one place standing and talking will be more difficult for me. So that's fine. My voice is audible, right? If not, I use the mic. Yeah. So, when we will give end for the thought, now you read lot of research articles related to your topic, you are a thinker and thinking process starts and you must give an end for that thought process. When you will give end for the thought process? Yeah, when we understand, when the reader understands himself, when he understands what is written, he must give an end for the thought. Why we have to give an end for the thought? For the self-protection. I cannot think of research 24 hours. I may be interested in research of particular topic, I'll think about that, but I'll give an end for that thought for the self-protection. No. This is also very important in your reading. When you are reading, when you are doing literature review, these things are very, very important. And you must do research only if you are interested. You must do the publication if you are interested. She is my friend, I'll put her name. What is this happening? In the name of research, what is happening? Because she is my director, she is my HOD, or he is my friend, or he is my relative, and I put the name. Why we do that in the research? If your contribution is zero, you are the best friend, but I will not put your name. You are my best friend. Why should I put your name when you are not contributing? Now somebody says that, sir, somebody collect the data. Somebody writes the article, this one, paper. And somebody's idea, somebody's statistical analysis, somebody does the statistical analysis. Now when all these processes are there and somebody collect the data, can we put their name in our paper? And it is very pathetic to see that the way the people are collecting the data, just sending the online questionnaire. Are we still in the COVID stage to send that? You are not ready to go to Udupi. You are not ready to meet the people who are in Mangalore. Forget about Bangalore, Delhi, Kolkata and other places all. The people are doing like that. And all dummy data they will bring and show. And we can identify those data dummy with the time and the date and all those things, and even by contacting those people. Because their mobile number will be there, compulsory. Now, whenever you do the publication, see that you will contribute. Without that, don't put anybody's number, a name, or don't insist anybody to be in your paper or others' paper. Now what happens is the publisher are sending after publication saying that there are 3 people who read this article. In that, one person has asked the question of these all the things. He wants the ethical consideration where it is done. He wants the data sheet, show those data sheet. And all those details nowadays they ask. There are 10 to 20 questions comes back even after publication. And if you have not taken ethical consideration, now don't think that it is ethical consideration only for the science. No, nowadays it is for the management also. Ethical consideration is very, very important. Without ethical consideration, you cannot collect the data. Data collection, okay, my students are there, I will give the questionnaire, they will fill it. That is not a way of collecting the data. Is that a way to collect the data? Because students are available giving the questionnaire, they will fill and I got the data, how much I want. Since I captured 200 students, my sample size is 200. Your sample size is not on the basis of the questions, how many questionnaire what you send it to others and how many reply comes. That is not your sample size. Please note those things. People do that. These are the things what I have observed. You cannot take it from your students. Did you take the permission of the student to collect the data? Did you take the consent from them? Legally it is wrong. If one student go to the court and it become a big issue. Without the permission of student we cannot. Without the permission of the university we cannot touch the student to collect the data. So today's class I am going to start with the literature review. How you do the literature review? I will explain that with an example, because when we do the literature review, the three things what I expect here is when we do literature review, the most important thing is thesis, antithesis and the synthesis in the literature review. What is thesis, antithesis and synthesis in literature review? How you do the literature review? Many of you completed PhD, many of you have written the article. How you do the literature review? Now after reading, if you write according to Suhan, this is what? One paragraph. Is that called as a literature review? It is not called as a literature review. I will explain you what is literature review, literature gap, conceptual framework, theoretical framework with an example. Now, in literature review, you first decide while doing research on what you want to do research. People say, I want to do research on marketing. Marketing itself is a ocean. What is that you want to choose in marketing? Sir, I want to do research in marketing. Very vague. In marketing, what do you want to do? In marketing, what is that you want to take? Whether you want to take brand management, whether you want to take consumer behavior or what else? Or sales. Now you decided to talk about effective attitude and the cognitive attitude. You are going to talk about only the behavioral attitude. And your work is only on that and you are expanding that. That is what we call it as a research. The marketing from there to consumer behavior to attitude, attitude in that only the behavioral attitude. And that is what the research you are doing by taking only one behavioral attitude, not the other attitude. So now you start referring many articles which is related to the behavioral attitude. Only behavioral attitude, so many articles you start reading. So first thing is the thesis, the initial dominant idea or the viewpoint presented in the literature. The first idea what it comes about after reading so many articles on attitude. That is what the thesis. When I give an example, you will understand that. So second one what we call is, now you want to study about the capitalism. That is a thesis. So many articles of capitalism you are learning. Now you have to find the antithesis, which is against that thesis. You are going to study so many articles related to the socialism. Now here if you see antithesis, contrasting viewpoint and the argument that challenge the initial thesis. Article is completely on vegetable eating people. You are studying about the people who are eating vegetable. One author says why vegetable is good for the human body. He used one or two reasons. Another person's article speaks about the same thing but the different reason he justifies. Another person speaks about the same vegetable good for the human health and he talks about many things and different parameters he will take. He talks about the protein, nutrient aspect and he talks about only protein and nutrients which is helping for the health of the people who are consuming vegetables. That is what we call it as a thesis. Now, vegetable eating thing when you talk about, the antithesis is the non-vegetarians. People who are eating non-vegetarian, what all the things are there? There are articles which says if you eat vegetarian, non-veg, what all the benefits are there? So those are called as an antithesis. Got it? So when you are reading reading the article which is related to your research, you need to see that what is opposite to of that also. Many articles you have to read. Now, after this, synthesis. Now, what is your conclusion? Both thesis and antithesis you have to take, and after incorporating, what the conclusion you want to give. You read 10 articles on vegetable and the veg eating people and the health issues. You took many articles on the non-veg eating people and the health issues. Now, what is your synthesis? How you will give and conclude? That is what we call it as a literature review. Now, what is your conclusion on that? What do you want to say? That is what we want to know. Now, with one example, I will explain you the thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Now, you will understand arranged marriages. There are a lot of articles on the arranged marriage which are justified in the sociology why arranged marriage is good. The one person has written by taking into consideration one factor, another person has taken different two factors, another person has taken another few factors and justified that why arranged marriage is good in the society like India. Now that is what we call it as in the literature review thesis. Traditionally, arranged marriage were prevalent, prioritizing family connection. For that it is very good. Somebody told their family connection. Somebody told societal standing and compatibility based on the norms rather than the personal romance. That is what somebody told. Now, the strength of this is definitely when there is according to the paper, we cannot give any guarantee here. According to the paper, what happens is they justify that it offers a stability. If there is arranged marriage, there is a stability. If there is an arranged marriage which reduces divorce rate, somebody has taken only the divorce rate and spoke about the arranged marriage. See, this is how the paper is developed. Now, you also take the arranged marriage, there is no point of doing that because already somebody has done. Why you have to tell that when the ball is thrown up, it will come down? Already Newton proved that with the gravitation. Now you don't, if you prove that even if I throw it will not come down, that is called the research. Otherwise, if you are also proving what he said is right, what is the use of that? So that is not a research. So here, different reasons they are given in the different papers. That is what we call it as a thesis. Because you are interested in your research to study about the arranged marriage only. Now, you have to bring some other factors and justify that there is a gap in which they have not conducted any kind of the study. Read so many articles, then you will come to know that beyond this point, there is some other point also which the people are not taken. When you come to know about that, that is what we call it as a knowledge gap, and that knowledge will make you to work on that which people have not done. All these factors are already done. What is the point of you doing the same kind of the research? Don't do that. You bring new factors with your knowledge. By reading. Knowledge comes only by reading. So, those factors you have to take and you have to justify why arranged marriage is good or bad or whatever it is according to your work. Now, when we talk about thesis as an arranged marriage, we go for the antithesis, which is a love marriage. Now, you have to find the article on love marriage also. You cannot just say that arranged marriage, so I read only the article related to arranged marriage. You must read what is opposite to that article. That is also very important. So now you do the antithesis by justifying why arranged marriage is very important. Please read this. See, it will individual choice. It leads to the individual choice. Right? It leads to the individual choice. That's why love marriage is, some people justify it in their paper why it is important. Some people say that freedom of choice, emotional connection. Now you might ask why arranged marriage don't have emotional connection. Maybe we don't know because that research paper what it speaks is emotional thing only they are taken. Here the person has taken the emotion factor and measured the love marriage. What is emotion? Why you want to come to our company? The normal answer is, what is your strength, weakness? Sir, I am very emotional. Is emotion is a weakness? If I am working with you and you are very emotional, I ever in your life. Your emotional weakness is the strength of others, no? Yeah, it is the strength of others. Emotion is what is emotion? Now in the love marriage they say emotional connection is there. Emotion is, I appreciate if you people interact. I will not judge anybody because everybody is in the learning stage. I also make a lot of mistakes. There are so many times well-known professors, friend, I do a lot of mistakes and they say that what you talk is not right. This is the article which speaks right actually. You read that like that way it goes. There is nothing wrong in that. No? If you are wrong, so what? Who is right? Nobody is perfect in this world. So emotion is what? Physical arousal of bodily responsibility. These people what they did is they have taken the individual's physical arousal of bodily response and the cognitive interpretation they measure. That is what we call it as an emotion, right? Whenever there is an emotion, we have that physical arousal of bodily response and the cognitive emotions, right? Normally it happens. I'll give one example and explain. When you are coming to the college, you saw a student. We'll give an example of student. Student saw a beautiful girl of his like. So the physical arousal of bodily response, the running heart starts. That is a normal process. So running heart start and the cognitive interpretation is she is beautiful. According to him, she is beautiful. So the love is the emotion he derives at that time. So your love is the emotion he derives at that time. Next day when he came to the college, in front of the gate there is one ferocious dog with a lot of saliva looks at him. Again the physical arousal of bodily response, the running heart start. The cognitive interpretation is this is a mad dog. So what he does is he feels that it is better to run away from this place. The fear is the emotion now. Fear is emotion, love is emotion, joy is emotion, all these are the different. So you have to take like that and do the research. You must understand what is emotion before doing the emotional things. And if you are doing only with the happiness, you don't add the joy in that. Right? So we need to understand the meaning of the concept, otherwise we will think it is same. There is a difference between happiness and joy. Right? What is happiness? Are you happy because RCB won the match? But Virat Kohli has derived the joy. That internally comes for him that yes, I did it after 18 years. That is what we call it as a joy, no? Whereas happiness is a mental state of well-being, characterized by the pleasant feeling or the positive emotions ranging from the contentment to the joy, right? That is what we call it as an happiness. Whereas joy is an internal thing. So he derived the joy, we all derive the happiness. All, whoever likes. Yeah, depends on person to person. Now, these people are given the antithesis where they justified in their paper why love marriage is important in India. They are justified that. Now, what is your synthesis? What you will say? You read the paper on love marriage, you read the paper on arranged marriage. What is your synthesis now? What do you conclude with this? Though arranged marriage is a good system Indians are brought in our society because of the industrialization and the developmental process which has taken place in our society, even love marriage is also has its own valid reasons or is valid. You can say like that. No, that is what the conclusion is. Always see that when you are writing and literature, we need thesis, antithesis and synthesis also. Otherwise what happens is, you write what he said. Where is our brain? What happened to our brain? Huh? Because we are always told what to think, what not to think in our life. Somebody tells always what to think, what not to think, what to do and what not to do. How increasingly it is difficult to think for oneself now. We have to come out of that if you are doing the research. Thinking for oneself is also very important. It has become very difficult because every time the others will say, don't do this, don't do that. You think like this, not think like that. So it is very difficult. So in the research, those thinking are very, very important. important. You must come out of the box and think and answer these things. Otherwise, it is not called as a research. So now, if you see here, synthesis is, see, love marriage is also there, arranged marriage is also there, leading to more balanced and successful union. So that is what we call it as a simple way of explaining you the literature review. Got it? Any questions? Please shoot the questions if you are having any. Thesis, antithesis and synthesis are the most important thing in the literature. Without that you cannot, yes.
So in synthesis you told like we need to conclude by giving importance for thesis as well as antithesis.
Yes, both you
At
are.
last we need to stick on with our thesis only as a conclusion.
No, you in the synthesis you are telling that both are good, bad is left on you. After reading those things, what is your synthesis? You know better because you have to read both so many articles on love marriage, so many articles on arranged marriage. Finally, you have to give the conclusion is left on you by taking into consideration those literature. There are some articles may talk against love marriage. No, you may take that also. We don't know. So, what is that you are taking and how you are giving conclusion? That is the most important thing in the literature review. So, literature review is mostly that. The first important thing, reading, you have to read. At least for the PhD, minimum 500 to 800 article you have to read, not by downloading from the Google. There are Emerald, EBSCO, Scopus and so many, JGate and so many are there. Please make use of all those things. If you make use of those things, you get the recent article. What is the use of talking about 1980s article, 2000 article, 2000 years article all? Bring those new articles. Then you will identify the gap. Because if you read 2000s article and say that this is a work which is not done, might have done in 2022 somebody. Read those new articles. But how it is available for everybody? That is also one of the problems. I do understand many places problems because for me easy to talk, but you will not get those articles easily because in my college those things are there, freely available. For us any kind of article we want, we can download, lot of things are available which are not easily available for others. But when you are doing research, these things are important. That's why. Otherwise, what happens when the thesis comes? I feel that this work is already done. Consumer behavior, this is what. And the scope of your study is always Dakshina Kannada and Udupi. That shows that you are not a good researcher. If you are writing Dakshina Kannada and Udupi, suppose you are studying about only the Mattugulla in the Udupi, that is not cultivated anywhere, then Mattugulla Udupi is fine. Then your scope Udupi is fine. You cannot take other places. But you want to study the lifestyle, people who are going to the lifestyle and buying the product, you are not ready to go to Bangalore. You cannot say that I am female or I am having this problem, that problem. You cannot speak. Our student at an age of 22 or when they are doing MBA, one of my students, I still remember, 15 years back, went to Uttar Pradesh village and studied about the antenna system. And she stayed there for 2 months, Uttar Pradesh this is. And the people who are in the city, they are not ready to go to Bangalore also. Scope of the study, moment you write Udupi, because you are in Udupi. Or you are in Mangalore. That is not a right approach. Now why don't you take Mysore? If somebody asks, these kind of the lifestyle is there in Mysore, why you are not selected? Then what will be the answer? What will be the answer? You can't say that I can't travel. And then your result, how I can generalize? If you are talking about the Udupi, Mangalore only, population of Mangalore is different from the population of Bangalore. If you see in the urban Bangalore, there are so many people from the various places and the software industry is developed such that large number of the software industry people, their purchasing power is different from our purchasing power. So how you can't go there? Because their view is also very important, no? So why you are attaching to Mangalore, I don't know, because most of the research I see that the scope of study is only limited to Dakshina Kannada. Why? Because I am from Dakshina Kannada and the sampling method is convenient sampling. What is this convenient sampling? Is it your convenience? Are you talking about your convenience? Because Dakshina Kannada also there are some people who are not ready to go to various places. Online. Why you do online survey when you are able to go there? One of my friends who is, she has done her postdoctoral degree from IISc Bangalore, all the districts of Karnataka she visited. On the solar panel she did, all districts. And she is ready to go to anywhere. See the interest. So that is what where the passion is very important in the research which people are not having. They are doing research because they are told to do. Now this PhD has become something like bicycle and car in every house. You knock the door of anybody, everybody is having PhD, one or two people. This has become like that. And now real doctors are scared to write their DR in front of their name after so many PhDs are increased. And everywhere the people are doing PhD and they put everywhere doctor, doctor, doctor. Where it is essential finding, not in every place. We are not real doctors. Real doctor must put that. Now the great scholarly people in the Western world, their contribution to the economy is too great. Nowhere they write doctor in front of their name. But here the people are having craziness of writing the name in front of their name doctor. I don't understand this. But it is clearly told that the PhD is just a degree, don't write doctor in front of your name unless you are going for any academic things. Other than that, nowhere. I cannot lift my doctor Suhan speaking. No, Suhan speaking is the correct word. I am not a doctor. This happened, many times it happened. Once in the flight also, one of my friend has experienced this kind of a thing. He has a weird habit of telling everybody doctor, doctor, doctor. In the airport also he told many people, I am doctor, something doctor, I will not reveal the name. He is a nice person. Suddenly in the flight somebody got the heart attack and he was called. Seriously, this is what happened. And that is the time he says that doctor is because of PhD. That's the time. It is happened and till date my colleagues laugh at him. But he is a nice person. I don't say that he is a bad person. He is a nice person. But this is what happened. We should. Okay. Now this is some example of thesis, antithesis. Please read. I am not going to explain these all. Now some article says capitalism is the most efficient because they justify. Maybe Karl Marx theories or they will bring and justify that, Hegel and other people. And antithesis says that it is extreme inequality and exploitation. But synthesis is mixed economy system. That's how they say that will be better. So this is some example. I'll go a bit faster because there are so many things to do. This is also one of the things. Technology using in the learning. You have to see that non-technology. So what is your synthesis? So this is what all about. Now I'll talk about literature review through the research gap. How to identify. This is the most important thing. If your gap is not strong, you cannot do the research. If you are not doing, see, to develop one synopsis, how much time you need. Now today you are thinking of doing research and enrolled for the research. To develop a strong synopsis, how long you need? My student takes 2 years. Without 2 years, synopsis will not develop, no? 2 years you have to read and do that, but some people will do in the magic 10 days also, 1 month also. Right? But that even in the publication, I don't understand, within the 10 days of 1 week publication is done means, we are waiting for our publication to get published after 1.5 years. Our publication happens only 1.5 years later with so many revisions. But there are people who will do the miracle. Within a week, all clone journals they will publish. Where you will take that resume if you want to develop? Nobody, nowhere. The moment they will see the resume, they will put it in the dustbin. if you have used the clone journals and if you have not done in the best journals. For that you need one paper to get published, 1.5 to 2 years also. American Journal of Marketing takes 2 years to get published. That too at the end of 2 years they say that editorial decision rejected at the end after 2 years. That also happens. So these are the things which is related. Now how to identify through literature the gap? Now topic is about the study how we prepare for the weather event. You want to study about how the people prepare for the weather event because different kind of the climate is there. How you prepared for this summer season? So much heat was there, humidity was there. How you prepared? That's what one wants to study. In Mangalore, how the people prepared themselves for those weather. That is what the research one person is going to do. Imagine. So if you are doing such kind of the thing, topic, then you have to do the literature review. Now weather report means you have to study about the hurricane, flood, drought, tornado. All these are the calamities you have to understand because in those calamities how the human beings are adjusting. That's what your research topic is. You want to understand that the research topic is yours is how the people adjust themselves with those kind of the climate. You read lot of things and finally you find that many work has been done in the hurricanes and the flood, drought and the tornado. All these many works are done. Now what you will do in the same? So you have to see that what is that much not done. Blizzards is the one you understand after reading so many things only. Blizzards is the one where the work is not being done. Very less work has been done, not the much work has been done. But if you read a hurricane and almost every work has been done. When so much work is done on those areas and the blizzard is the one where the work is not done, you have to, that is one thing which you have to go through now. Now you read many article or available article on the blizzards only. So when you read that, you have to identify this population gap. Literature shows blizzards are more intense in the higher elevation. Blizzards are found more in the higher elevation. That is what the research papers shows. Very limited paper. Most of the research have been conducted with the who live in the diverse elevation. Because when you read, you identify that different elevations people are living, studies are done. Now, the gap is the people who are living above 6,000 feet, their study has not been done. Now you do the study on that. That is how you can identify the gap. Now how you identify the gap is, blizzard is the one where very less work is done. And this blizzard where the people living 6,000 feet above, their lifestyle or how they are adjusting themselves, there is not study. So now you need to concentrate on that only. So that is how the gap is identified and you justify that why. But please see that whenever you are identifying gap, don't get that organic vegetable study is done in the Western world, it has not done in India. That is not a gap. Don't write like that unless there is a strong support for that. This work is done in Europe, this is not done in India, is not a gap. Always remember, because some people have that in their thesis, they write that most of the work are done in the Europe, most of the work are done in US, but it is not done in India. That is not a gap unless it is exactly not done in the India and very strong group is there, you cannot put that. So that is what the population gap is here. Now methodological gap. How people prepare for the blizzard being studied quantitatively. When you read the paper, there are very few papers and almost all papers speaks about the quantitative research what has been done. Now you identify that the qualitative research is very important. And in the modern world, please see that the qualitative research is more important than quantitative. By giving questionnaire, collecting data and all those things are not very strong. Today if I give one questionnaire for you and you feel that, and tomorrow if I give the same questionnaire, the answer will be different. That is why the Western world is not believing in those quantitative data now. They believe only in the qualitative research. Case development kind of the things on we have to develop. So here the quantitative work is already done, qualitative is not done. That proof should be there. Then only you can say that is a gap in this research. Now conceptual conceptual framework. Theory building. When you talk about the conceptual framework, and here in the picture if you see, one construct is connected to another construct, that we need a proof for that. How A is connected to B, I want literature. Now I want literature for all four constructs. Here you can see the conceptual framework is based on the phenomenological grounded theories and the path-breaking work done by the scholars. You cannot connect one to another. You cannot say that all crows are black, because I have seen them black. This particular zoologist has justified why crows are black, then only we will believe that crows are black. How you can say crows are black? Because I have seen. In the research this will not happen. When the price comes down, people buy more, will not work. Who all said that? What Alfred Marshall told about that. So then you bring those things and justify that. That is a normal common man thing. The price comes down and this happens and demand theory, all those things. But when you bring those things, I want a justification for that. So without justification, you cannot connect one with another. Each construct what you take in the conceptual framework are based on the phenomenological grounded theories and the path-breaking work done by the scholars, the researcher, where each construct, that square one what you see is called as a constructs, are conceptualized and operationalized at different levels. What is the level you are taking? Conceptualized means if I am doing your survey, then it is an individual level. If I am going to the company, then it is operational level. These construct what I am showing is conceptualized and operationalized at an individual level or team level, that you have to decide. Based on that, you connect to the conceptual framework. Now, whatever is shown here, each one I want literature review. Now, for example, the psychological well-being. Where is the literature for psychological well-being? I want lot of literature on psychological well-being. Before you are connecting to one another, that is very important. Where is the literature for self-esteem? Now, self-esteem is connected to psychological well-being. I want literature for them. Who all told? Who all told that self-esteem leads to the psychological well-being? That is what the most important thing I want now. Now you are connected A with the B. Where is the literature? I want literature for A. I want literature for B. I want literature for A connected to B. Who all said A is connected? How you can connect? Unless you have the literature, you cannot connect one arrow with another arrow and say that there is a relationship. You cannot talk that. If you are talking about the relationship, I want literature for A, I want literature for B, I want literature for A connected to B, where the people are justified that there is a relationship between self-esteem and the psychological well-being. They are justified that. You have to show me that literature. At the same time, if it is all, you show the 10 literature speaks that self-esteem lead to the psychological well-being. Why you want to measure that? Already done, no? A is leading to B, you are telling, 10 article you are showing, then why you want to study that? Already proved. No, why you want to prove the same thing? At the same time, that is the antithesis I want. I want somebody said that self-esteem is not connected to the psychological well-being. That also I want. Disagreement gap is very, very important. Now you have to show me some article which says that self-esteem is not leading to the psychological well-being. I want those articles. Then you connect. Without that you are connecting, there is no logical, because it is done. Which is not done, you tell me. So that is what needs to be there in the conceptual framework. In this conceptual framework, every connection has the thesis and the antithesis. Without that, we cannot connect. Opposite view is also important. It says that there are some people, these 4 people are disagreed with the article written by these 10 people. So both are to be kept and connected. Then now you can measure whether it is working with theirs or yours. That is how you can test. Otherwise, if they are done that, you are also doing, what is the difference? There is no difference. So disagreement should come in the conceptual framework. So conceptual framework is nothing but each construct and its relation with the other, so that hypothesis is framed like that. Self-esteem lead to the psychological well-being is one of the hypotheses you can see here. Right. So hypothesis testing, what we are doing is based on here how many, according to you, how many relations are there? Tell me. How many direct relationships are there? How many mediating relationships are there?
Relationship
Direct are direct 5 is there. 5 relationship is there. Emotional stability and psychological well-being is one. Another one is the self-esteem and the psychological well-being. So like that. And another one, mindfulness and the psychological well-being. Mindfulness and the self-esteem. Mindfulness and emotional stability. 5 direct are there. Where mediating is emotional stability is mediating in mindfulness and the psychological well-being. Similarly, self-esteem is mediating between the mindfulness and the psychological well-being. So there are 5 direct hypotheses. You no need to frame your own hypothesis now because your conceptual work is very, very clear, and in that clarity you are talking. Right? So that is what we call it as a conceptual framework. Now once you develop the conceptual framework, what is that theory fit into that you have to see. You have writing something, chalk or something like that, right? Now how you can connect the theory? Imagine this is a conceptual framework. I'll make it very clear about the based on the literaturally you are doing. Brand love, brand trust, brand attachment, brand loyalty. Imagine this is what the conceptual framework is. And here you can identify how many direct and indirect, all those things. I'm not going to explain that. Now, what I want to say is when the conceptual framework is developed, you have to bring a theory which connects to this. Without theory, you cannot do the research. There are some research work, there is no theory at all. And there are some research, 10 theories are brought. How many theories you can bring in the conceptual framework? Try to see that only one theory fit into that. Maximum 2 theories, not more than 2 theories. You cannot bring more theories in your conceptual framework. Now when you speak about your conceptual framework, you need to see that which theory will fit into that conceptual framework also. Now brand trust, if you, I will give one example. Woodland shoes we will take as an example here. I love Woodland shoe because of its durability, long lasting. It comes for a very long time. Unless I throw it out of my house, it will not go. That is what the stability of that shoe is. Because of that, I love that brand. Since I love Woodland shoes, I am very loyal to that because that is one arrow shell. Since I love that, I am attached to that brand. Since I am attached to that Woodland shoe, I am loyal to that shoe. Now, since I love that shoe, I trust that shoe. And since I trust, I am loyal to that shoe. Now, since I love that, I am attached to that, and that attachment also leads to the trust, and trust also leads to the loyalty. This is all the theory speaks about, and against article also says, there are articles which says that brand love is not going to lead the brand attachment. That is why I have connected that. There are articles says brand love leads to the attachment. There are articles says brand love is not leading to the attachment. Both are taken and connected and done the conceptual framework here. This conceptual framework, now what theory you will bring? Every researcher is mad after TAM. TAM model, every time again. Why you use TAM model? Why don't you have a good models? There are a lot of theories of psychology you can easily bring in the management. People are not doing that. Now, here how we bring the theory is, I'll give one example. There is Spieler's theory of love. Okay. Now, the same way how it works for the Woodland or any kind of the brand, similar way the love theory applies here. I love my son. Since I love my son, I am very loyal to my son. I love my son, that is why I am attached to my son. And since I am attached to my son, I trust my son. Since I trust him, I am very loyal to him. So all these factors the love theory has brought. Love theory speaks about attachment, trust, commitment and so many things. You bring those things and you are fit into that. That is what we call it as a theoretical framework. How you develop the conceptual framework and what is that theory which is fit into this conceptual. That is the most important thing here. We have to bring that theory. Otherwise there is no research. If you want your paper get published, bring the theory in the best journals. So what conceptual framework you develop, for that we need the theories also. If the theories are very strong and connect, then see here one theory only fit into that, because Wheeler has spoken about attachment, love, trust, all these things. The similar way we developed on the various literature. Now that conceptual framework directly connected to those theories. So theory is connected to your work. So literature review is done, develop the conceptual framework, theory is also brought. And the most important thing in the research is the research gap. What is that people are not done, you are bringing and doing, that research is very important. Otherwise the same thing people are doing. There is no research at all. Right? Okay, this is what the conceptual framework is all about through the literature. This is all there. I'll give you the slide so that you can refer rather than writing. Because writing, what happens is, when the psychologist says if you keep on writing, your mind is accepting only that word to write, not to keep in your memory. It will never be in your episodic memory, neither it won't be there in your autobiographical memories. So it is better to concentrate, because I don't allow my student to write, let them concentrate. They remember something. If you start writing only for the writing purpose, the brain works. So that is. Now, in developing conceptual framework, one example I'll give you and explain you here. Now, choose what is your research question you have to identify first. What is that you want to do? That once you identify, see here exactly, let us say that you want to study whether student who spend more hours in studying, whether they get the good marks. That is what the research you want to do. Your research question is, if students spend more and more time on studies, whether their exam grade or the marks will go higher. Now, number of hours spent is called as an independent variable, whereas dependent variable is the result. What the result comes, the score comes higher, that is what. So that is what we call it as in here. I'll show you here with this. Here. Hours of study is an independent variable. Here I have taken only one, but you may take two independent variables, three independent variables, many are there. The student performance is based on number of hours maybe I have taken here, or else there are many other factors also there which I have not taken. For you to understand, I have taken only two. Here, the exam score is a dependent score. My students spend more time in reading so that they will get a good marks. So that is why the hours of study is an independent variable, whereas exam score is an dependent variable. The hypothesis is very simple hypothesis is formed. There is a relationship between the number of hours of study by the student and the exam score. Now with the data you have to see that whether it is really or not. That is a later data analysis. Now here I will show you with this thing. One is a independent variable, another one is a dependent variable. In the research is very important. Is a dependent, independent, moderating and mediating variable. Not necessary. It is important based on your work. Everybody puts I will also put the mediating is not going to work. It is something like that. My neighbor is very damn rich person who brought by paying crores BMW car. Since in this compound I saw BMW car, I will also buy means. I think about my money also, not finance. We are really like that in the modern times, comparative life. So this is what somebody has put the mediating variable, I will also put mediating. No, it will not work like that. So here, dependent and independent, you understood. Now in this, brand love, brand trust and brand attachment are the independent variable. Now here we will talk about moderating variable. The same example where I will explain what is moderating variable. I spend more time so that I will get a good marks. Is the first thing what we are decided. Now moderating variable alter the effect that independent variable as an dependent variable. Now for example, here IQ. Now I will put this picture and I will show you. Now each one has their own IQ. IQ level varies from person to person. So I don't need to study more because my IQ is better. So number of hours leading to the more, but the moderating is IQ. Then in my case no need because I am very intelligent. Or I am not at all intelligent, then I will spend more hours. So each one has an IQ. Now that IQ is now moderating between the dependent and independent variable. So your result will vary. Every student is spending 20 hours, same result it will not come. Each one has their own IQ level which is moderating variable here. Now you see here, first what I said, student is using 20 hours in order to get the full marks. Now second example, when the IQ of a person is 120, he is spending only 15 hours now. He will get the good marks. The same marks he will also get. But he is not spending 15 hours, he is not spending 20 hours, not 15 hours. That is why it is moderate. Now if your IQ is 150, you don't need to spend more hours. Again, just 5 hours if you read, that's enough. Because each one's capacity varies. So everybody is not studying equally. So that is where the moderating variable comes in the research, where IQ is one thing which will makes lot of differences. So we cannot say that if you spend more time in studies, you will get the good marks. Even if you spend less time, because of your IQ level based, you will get better marks. So that is what the moderating variable is all about. Now another one is a mediating variable. Here I will show you. This one, number of. Now why we use the mediating variable in research? Okay. Independent with a dependent variable, and we want to see that whether it is really mediating or partially mediating or fully mediating. That is why we need to understand the mediating variable also. So here what happens, number of practice problems, you spend lot of time, work with lot of problems, the possibility of higher grade is too high. So that is what the meaning here. So number of practice problem completed is mediating between hours of study and exam score is also one of the hypotheses here. Hypothesis when you are testing, that also comes. The number of practice problem you are completing, so much you are completing by reading. Hours of spending plus you are completing that, definitely will lead to the good marks. That is what the mean. Yes. No, not necessary to add a mediating variable. If your research after reading, after doing the literature review, you find that mediating is necessary, then you use it. Not necessary. Moderating also not necessary. Only if you find that it is necessary to put in your work. It's all depend on your literature review. Based on the literature review, if you feel that it is necessary, then only you bring that. Otherwise, you don't bring that. Now, this is moderating. This I am not going to talk. Control also, no need to talk here. This is all same. Now theoretical framework I told, yellow color is the indicator. Now what is indicators in the research? Suppose you want to do the survey, where you will bring the questionnaire for the survey. You want to study the student satisfaction in Srinivas University, Pandeshwar. That is the subject you want to do the research. Whether students are happy here. Now how you develop the questionnaire? Other people's questionnaire, your standard questionnaire, already the standard questionnaire is available, then you use it and measure. In case if the standard questionnaire is not available, then what you are going to do? You create your own questionnaire. Now suppose you have put 80 questions. Those 80 questions on the basis of literature it should what you are going to do? You are going to measure you are going to give the questionnaire to the student.
No, that will be testing.
How?
Pilot
Pilot study. How many numbers?
minimum 30.
If I develop a questionnaire now for the Srinivas College student, whether they are happy or not is a topic. Once I develop my by literature with the questionnaire, I have to send that questionnaire to the two academic people who are very well versed and done the PhD in that area. In a similar way, even if it is industry related, then the industry you have to send, no need to have PhD for them. You have to send two people who are in the academic, two people in the industry. They will add and delete your questionnaire. Once they add certain questions, once they delete your certain question, what comes is called a final questionnaire. No, it is not a final questionnaire. What comes in that, you have to do the pilot study. When you do the pilot study, what is the number you are going to take? What is the number you are taken so far for the pilot study? You might have written some papers on. For the pilot study, what is the number you are chosen? 30, 40. Why 30? Why 30? What you said is right, but why?
To differentiate small sample to large sample.
No, there is one article which is an internationally known, written by Hertos, and in his article he has justified when we do the pilot study why the 30 number is to be taken. You have to write your the pilot study is 30 and Hertos 2008. You have to write that. Then only that you valid your that sentence. Simply if you write 10, 30 or it is not valid. Please take the pilot study 30 people survey. Once you do the 30 student randomly survey, what you are going to do?
Reliability. Reliability test.
Elaborating your reliability test. What you have to do is now Cron-Back alpha and the KMO Bertley test you have to do. Cron-Back alpha value, if it comes more than 7, retain those constructs. Here the blue color is called as a constructs. Yellow color is called as an indicator, and those indicators are the questions in the questionnaire. Okay, and those questionnaires now you do the Cron-Back alpha, also do the KMO Bertley test. The KMO Bertley test, each indicator you will see above 5. If it is less than 5, delete those things. Then what final remains is your final questionnaire. That is what you have to do the survey, final survey. Now what is the sample size of your, how you decide the sample size in your work? I see sometimes the people like 200, 600, 500, 800. How? How you decide the sample size?
Based on population and formula.
If the population is known, the formula will be there. If the population is unknown, formula is there. Please apply those formula and calculate the sample size. It is very, very important to calculate the sample size before giving the questionnaire to student here. If I am studying about the student happiness here, before that I have to calculate. Here the population is known, then the formula is different. If the population is unknown, how many people are going to market and buying the pineapple? We don't know the population, how many goes. So the formula will be different. Again, it depends on the sample size, sampling method. What is your sampling method? Probability and non-probability are so many kind of the sampling. What kind of the sampling you are doing? Now suppose I want to study the drug addict behavior. What kind of the sampling I should go for? Snowball sampling. Because he is a drug addict, I come across him, but I don't know others are taking drug. I will ask him, who is your friend takes? He will give the reference and I will go like that way and do. That is a snowball sampling, which is very, very important in the life of a drug addict surveys on. Otherwise, there are so many kind of the sampling is there. Based on that, the formula is applied and calculated. Right? Based on that only, you cannot just put some numbers as a sample size. They will ask what is the confidence level, what is the Z alpha square, that is the confidence level, precision of error, how much you are taken. Now suppose you want to study the people's lifestyle in Mangalore, Udupi, Mysore and urban Bangalore. What you are going to do? You want to study the lifestyle of the people. Now, urban Bangalore population is totally different from other three places. There is something called the SDK effect. You have to multiply with 1.5 for the sample size and calculator. That is, if you are understanding the lifestyle, there are so many things out there in the research field. So those things you have to apply, because the purchasing power of the Bangalore is totally different from the purchasing power of Mangalore. Okay. Now, how you will choose these places? Suppose you are chosen Mangalore and somebody asks that why you are not gone to the Bangalore, then what will be the answer? What is the answer? You are studying the lifestyle of the mental well-being of the people in Karnataka state, where you are chosen only Mangalore. Why not Bangalore? If the question comes, then how will you answer? Bangalore also important. Otherwise, how I can generalize your result? At the end of the day, you will say that I have taken Mangalore and this is the result. This is what my suggestion is. How I can generalize that to Bangalore and Mysore? You have narrowed down your research which is not useful to the community and the society. Always see that your research is useful to the community or the society, which is not happening in many places. Where is that useful? So see that your research is useful to the community or the society. Otherwise, there is no point in doing research actually. Now, Bangalore population is totally different, Mysore population is different, so you have to put the various. Now, according to the human index, if you want to study the purchasing power of these four places, now you may ask that why you are taken Bangalore this one. Where is the justification? You just cannot say that software industry people are there, that is why you take. Where is the justification? I will justify that I am taking my research is only on the literate people. So, according to the Human Development Index, the literate people are highly found in these four regions. That is why I have taken. This is how we justify. Otherwise, why tomorrow anybody will call why you are taken only Bangalore? There are people always in SSLC and PUC Bangalore get the topper. Then why you are not taken? Tomorrow if they ask. You are talking only the literate states. So, let's see why if you see these four states we can. Because the human index is the one which you can bring here and quote that and say that why you are chosen those four areas. So you have to justify every time your work. Now this is the conceptual framework. A small homework for you. What is the time?
11:24.
This is 10 to 11, right? Nobody has told me. Otherwise, still evening I will talk. Yes. This is going to be here. Then after that we continue to 11:30 to 12:30. Actually, we have to adhere to the time. That is also not good if we go beyond. Somebody here must tell whoever the guest comes. It is in our university. If I call Nelson as a guest and he comes 5 minutes late, program is already started. He has to take it as an insult. Now we are doing like that. Whoever it is, even Narendra Modi comes late, we will start the program. Let him come and sit later. This is how the things are changing now in the world. We cannot wait for them. When they are guests, they need to have a time sense. At least 5 minutes before they have to come, or on time also we are okay with that. Otherwise, we will start the program. And that is Japanese style, where it is considered as an insult for the person. One who comes late and they never come late because of their country and their system is totally different. Their train also 1 second late also time is time. Their system. Each country is different. Our country is also unique in many things and good also. So this all I will send it to you so that you can okay. Now I'll give a break and what I have to talk next is the publications. Yes, we'll meet up. I don't know whether you enjoyed it or not because this subject is always a dry subject for many people. But one thing, if you since I have come here, you should not end here. If you want any article related to your work, just I will download and give me the articles. Whatever your work. I tell all start again. Okay. Another 1 hour I'll be spending with you. In future, if you think that I should look after your work and discuss with you, please come. I will definitely see your work and I will contribute, but please don't put my name because it's your idea, your work, your done the work. Since I am helping you does not mean that you put my name. This name matter has become a big issue. Everybody expects that something they are doing and they say that put my name. Even if guide is not contributing, don't put their name. Because guide you cannot put the name. What is the role of the guide? What contribution they are done with the work? Then only, right? Because he is my guide and I can't put the name. Only guide should work with me. Okay, PhD topic is fine. My guide PhD topic is fine. Besides that, if the guide is not contributed, why? And moreover, what happens is people have a tendency to say that my guide is not helping me. My guide is not. Guide has PhD, you want PhD. He is already having PhD, he is a facilitator. Who want PhD? You want PhD, then work. If guide is not helping, there are various sources through which you get the help from the people and do the work, no? Guide is a facilitator, but they need to discuss with you. Sometimes, unfortunately, they don't do anything like that, but that depends. But we spend our time so much with the research scholars, so it all depends on the people also. Now, I am going to talk about the questionnaire. Okay. While framing the questionnaire, what is that you need to take into consideration is what is that you want to do in your research. And your question should be connected to those objectives and the research question. Because sometimes what we see is people are doing the research and their objective is different and the questionnaire is totally different. Question and objective, there is no connection at all. And suggestion also they will give, but the work is not done based on those suggestions are not reflecting any kind of the, what I can say, work. Work is different, objective is different, questionnaire is different, analysis is different, suggestion is different, and that suggestion what you give, is it based on the work we have to see, no? It must be based on the work. If it is not based on the work, then it is not a good research work. Now here, before you write a single question, clarify what you want to learn from the questionnaire. What is that you want in the questionnaire? What is the objective of your work? What is the exact objective and the research problem involved in the work? You need to see that. Based on that, you have to develop the questionnaire. Even if you are looking after those questionnaire which is already developed by the others, you need to see that whether it matches with your work. Then only you can take those things. Now suppose there is a questionnaire which is internationally known, written by me. You want to use it. What you will do? You see that questionnaire in my article. I have developed one strong questionnaire and you feel that for your work, that questionnaire fit into. Now, what you will do? You will take that questionnaire. You have to take permission from me. Without my permission, how you can use that questionnaire? You have to write a mail to me saying that we are using that questionnaire. Is there any objection? Then I say that there is no objection. Then only you can use that questionnaire, no? Tomorrow if they come to know, then it will become a big issue. You will end up with lakhs of rupees paying to that person. Yeah, you cannot take the questionnaire as you like because it is available there. Did you take the permission from that person? Once you take the permission from that person only, you can use that. Always remember these all things because we write a mail to them. Once the reply comes only, we use their questionnaire. So if the researchers, customer satisfaction with a new product, your objective is to investigate the consumer perception of the product, features or whatever. So this way it has to come based on your objective and the research questions. And please don't write in PhD thesis to understand, to study on. Some Bloom taxonomy word must be there. Something like to analyze, to explore, to investigate, to assess. All these kind of the words are important. Don't write study and understand. Understanding the concept is very important for you. You cannot write it as understand again. So define the research objectives. Identify your target audience, whom you are targeting. While doing the questionnaire, you have to see that whom you are targeting. Are you going to survey the technical people? Are you going to survey the scientists? Are you going to survey the common man? Are you going to survey the younger generation? That is what you have to see here. Identify your target audience. Here I will give that. Now, if your target audience is a technical expert, then use those technical jargons. If I use those technical jargon and give it to the common man, what he will understand? Now, when you develop the questionnaire, how long you will spend with the individual? How long you will spend with the individual? Now, suppose you are ready with the questionnaire. You are coming to meet me to fill that. How much time you will spend with me? 5 minutes. No, I want to understand each and every question. You have to explain me, not just giving and fill and give. Now, if they are doing like that, then the problem for you only, no? Yeah. Then if you are giving me the questionnaire and I fill in 5 minutes, that means I have not filled that questionnaire properly. You have to spend. Now when I see, okay, gender is there, marital status is there, all those. Is it necessary in your work? Because everybody puts that. I have seen that. Everybody is very much fascinated about gender, age, that, this all. You put in the questionnaire. Is it necessary in your work? You have to see. If it is not necessary, then why you have to put? Women employees, trust you want to study, and in the questionnaire you are writing again gender. Title is women employees. Now again, why you want to put that gender, male, female? Particularly if it is you are studying about the transsexuals and all those things, I understand. Otherwise, why you want that gender? Because your scope is very clear. I am going to survey only those who are women in the bank and study their stress. Now, sometimes you put the age. And at the end of the research, I don't find that age and your work has any connection. Why you want to put that age if it is not necessary? Qualification, educational qualification. Is it necessary in your work? You have to think. Because in the demographic features, whatever we are writing in the questionnaire, please think whether it is necessary in your work. Then only you put that, no? Even sometimes in the gender male, female, trans, but you are not going, your work is nowhere connected to the trans, then why you want to put that trans? Or the options are given, marital status, where you are studying about the married and unmarried people's behavior, married, unmarried, divorced, separated. Divorced, separated, why you want? When your scope is very clear that you want to study the lifestyle of the married and unmarried people. Keep on filling those things also. Here that marital status is important, whether married or not. More than that, why you are giving the options. Sometimes we do that. If it is not necessary in your work, please don't use those demographic features. If you are not using it. SSLC, PUC, diploma, and you have no work with the diploma people, why you put the diploma people? You have no work with the SSLC people, why you want? If it is included, then use that. If you are going to survey the SSLC to all qualifications, then use that. So you need to be very, very particular about all these things in your questionnaire. And now if you are meeting the technical people, technical jargons if you are using, they understand. Now if I use something like schizophrenia, kleptomania, paranoid, paraphilia, all, I bring here, what you will understand? Now if I give the questionnaire, you will feel and you. But you don't know the meaning of what is paraphilias, necrophilias and all those obsessive compulsive disorder people are. But in the obsessive compulsive disorder, what I have done is something great work, but you are not understanding so many concepts which I have used in that. And your understanding of obsessive compulsive disorder is different from the people who are the psychologists. So even schizophrenia case or whatever the kind of the cases are. So you see, if I bring the schizophrenia's questionnaire and give it to him to understand whether he has that character, I have to make him to understand each question. What is the meaning of that? There are so many medical terms are there. How he will understand? Being a commerce teacher, he will not understand that. Suppose I give the marketing things and he specializes in marketing, he will understand that. Otherwise, that is why if the technical terms are used for the technical people, then it is okay. However, if the target audience is general public, then avoid such kind of the big words, no? Or old people, aged people, people who are above 80 and their lifestyle, if you are understanding, or their social life you are understanding, then make it very simple. Don't make it very complicated where they will not understand anything. Because I am studying, there are so many sociology words are there, so I use that means that person should understand. No, so that is why questionnaire need to be very good, very clean, and one will understand, then only he will fill that. Otherwise, it will become a junk word. Now, clear language is also very important. See, what is your perception regarding the efficacy of aforementioned product? It is very difficult and very vague kind of the question people are asking. So ensure that question is understood and there is no ambiguity and the confusion. Double barrel questions and the confusion questions people are using, no? That we need to avoid. How satisfied are you with this product? It's a simple one. Instead of asking that question, this question sounds very easy. Employ the logical flow should be there. Start with the general questions, even your demography is fine if it is connected to your work, and with a simple question you have to start. Now if I want to measure the anxiety level of the faculties who are here, or the depression level, I can use the Beck scale. But if I bring the Beck scale here or the Hamilton scale of anxiety, you are not able to fill it unless I explain each question to you. One way we can do that, now I want to measure the depression of yours, by giving that Hamilton, this Beck scale of depression. Each one question I will explain here in front of, then you can feel that. Otherwise it will be very difficult for you. That is why it should be a logical flow. One after one it should come. Not suddenly asking something and after that some other things. And it has to flow in the sequence. Now pilot study, which is already I explained when you make the questionnaire, it is very important to have a pilot study of 30 people, what I said in the earlier session. 30 people survey is very important because Hertos has justified why it is 30. And what all things you have to do, KMO, birth rate, all I explained, so I'll go a little bit faster. Then ethical consideration, this is the most important thing. Now you may think that we are just surveying the people. Why the ethical consideration? You are surveying not animals, human beings. It was there for the science people. In the medical field, it is very important to take the ethical consideration. You want to study the mental health of the people who are at the last stage of cancer. You have to take the ethical consideration. You cannot just enter the hospital and ask the question for them. Or you want to study the people, they know that they are on death and dying. They are on the deathbed. How their mind works at that time, that is the research you want to do. Then you have to take the ethical consideration from the ethical committee of the college. Now your college has ethical committee, from there you have to get the approval. Once they give the approval, then you can start the work. You have to present your whole synopsis in front of the ethical committee along with the questionnaire, then they will go through that, they will give the permission, then only you can do that. So, now why I am telling is, even in the management it has become compulsion. Now after publication, the editor is sending us the mail saying that where is the letter of ethical consideration, because people are asking, who read that article has asked whether the ethical consideration is, now then we have to provide those things. Now suppose you are done and later if they ask, it will become a big case on you. That's why you cannot just don't enter into the classroom and take the survey and take the data from the people. Student easily available, so their data is taken. No, ethical consideration is very, very important. Without that you don't do. So ethical consideration, once you do the questionnaire, it is necessary to do the ethical consideration. Now what are the type of the questionnaires are there? Structured questionnaire. This structured, multiple choice are there. Now when you put the multiple choice, now what is your favorite color? This is all very simple one question what you put. Rating scales are there, are you satisfied or not? Then Likert scale is there. Now why you use Likert scale? Now your Likert scale, if you are using for all the construct with the questionnaire, imagine your work as one dependent variable and the 3 independent variables. All these 4 variables, if you are using the Likert scale of the same, strongly agree to strongly disagree is a 1 if you are using, then what statistical analysis you are going to do? Suppose one construct is measured with the Likert scale. Another construct is also measured with the Likert scale with the decided, not decided, less decided kind of the parameter. Here it is strongly agree, but there are sometimes most likely, less likely kind of the things comes. So each construct is used by different kind of the questionnaires. Then what you are going to do? What kind of the analysis you are going to do? Now how you will decide you want SPSS or the PLSCB or the PLS, what I can say, SEM, or you may be using the R, Lisrel, how you will decide? How you will decide what statistical analysis you are to do? Now why I am telling is, when you are developing a synopsis, you need to have a statistician with you, professional statisticians. You cannot go to the medical college where there is a biostatistician. Don't use them. The management related statisticians are there, you have to approach them, then they will tell that what kind of the questionnaire you are having and what kind of the software we can use it. So you have to meet them. Not after everything, when the analysis is going wrong, you are going there, then they will not help you. And there are some statistician who works only for the money. I can do one statistical work within half an hour and I will give, but I will not give. After 1 week I will tell. So that you think that 1 week I am a lot of work doing. They are not ready to do the interpretation on your work, just what they put is the data and that machine will give the value and that value is given to you. They are not ready to take a huge amount of the money, but they are not helping in the interpretation of the data. If they are not interpreting that data, then what is the use of giving money to such people? Right? So this is also happens here in many places. I have seen that. See that the genuine statistician, no, giving money, there is nothing wrong in that, but they need to contribute a lot, just putting that and doing and giving this one. It's not the right kind of approach. Now, if you are using in every construct same kind of the scale, for example, Likert scale, 5 rating is there. Every construct you are using the same kind of the scale, then you can use PLSM also. SPSS also you can use. It's all. Now why you want to use PLSM? When you are using PLSM, when you are using PLSCB, CB is covariance based. What we say is partial least square covariance based, which is popularly known as AMOS. Whereas PLSM is partial least square structural equation model. Where you can use AMOS, where we can use the PLSM. Why you are using PLSM? Why? People are used. Why? If your sample size is small, then you can use PLSM. Whereas if the sample size is large, that means if you are having 80 questions, 80 into 10, 800 data are there, then you can use AMOS. Whenever you are using AMOS, see that total number of the question into 10, that many sample if you are having, then you can use AMOS. That is one of the conditions. That is not just because it is crossed and I will use AMOS. You need to justify why you are using AMOS, why you are using PLSM. When you are using PLSM, you really want to measure whether each construct means the exogenous latent variables are the real driver construct of the endogenous latent variable. That is why you are using PLSM. Whenever you are using PLSM, see that whether those exogenous latent variable are the real driver construct of the endogenous latent variable. That means the independent and dependent variable are really impacting on that dependent variable. Or else you must see that what kind of the mediating effect is there. That is why you are using that. Whether the mediating variable is partially affecting or the fully affecting you want to see, then you are using the PLSM. Even you use the SPSS. Till date we have found that there are many softwares have come, but finally SPSS is far better. And the software, one more software is there, that is the advanced version of SPSS. That is freely available, where you don't need to put the data, how you enter for the SPSS. It is direct one, I have forgotten the name. Jamovi, yes. Jamovi is the one where you can extract the data and immediately that is freely available. PLSM is freely available for a month, for 100 samples. Are all not available, all many softwares are paid version. And if you want the PLSM for the years, you have to pay I think 3 to 4 lakhs for that. Otherwise, for a short period, if you are using 1 month with a large number of the samples, they will give the 3,000 or 4,000 something you have to pay and do that. So these are all the different kind of the questionnaires. Dichotomous questionnaire, which is very familiar. Do you have children? Yes or no kind of the question. And demography questions. Now this is a Likert scale. I told Likert scale has 5 parameters. But everywhere if you see the different kind of the parameters are there. If you are using one construct with a different thing, then you cannot use the PLSM. This is what we call it as a Likert scale. 5 rating scales, 7 rating scales are there. This is all unstructured. This is all simple, so I'll go a little faster here. What is your opinion on the political situation? That's it. That is the unstructured one. Normally, when we do the interviews or we use this kind of the question. Semi-structured is a combination of the structured and unstructured, so I'll not go much with this. The others are online way, mail way, telephonic way, collecting all. Now, example, this one I'm going to tell here. Example of bad questions and suggestion how to fix it. Now you see. I feel welcomed by staff and other youth at the center. Now, strongly agree, strongly disagree, I will give with this question. You mark the strongly agree. Now, your strongly agree is for the staff or the other youth. The staff is different from the youth. Now, that becomes a double barrel question. You should not put a double barrel question in your question. Always see that you will avoid the double barrel questions. Double barrel question is, now if somebody has picked and I ask you whether that tick mark is for the staff or for the youth, there is no answer. So that is why avoid the double barrel questions. That is why two questions you have to frame. In that case, you want both, then frame the 2 questions. Now double negative questions are there. What is that double negative questions? Double negative questions. Question contains 2 negative statements. Does it seem impossible for you that the moon landing never happened? Impossible and never. See the double negative questions, you cannot put that. So what you need to see, these are the options. Imagine the correct one is, does it seem possible to you that the moon landing never happened? Question should be like that. You should not put the double negative questions in your question. So then the questionnaire has those kind of the choices. Here you can see that. Whatever. Now next is the biased or the leading question. What is that bias? Now if I say that Srinivas is a very good university, what is your opinion? Already I am telling it is a good university. Now I am asking your opinion. Definitely you will say good. Right? Or I can say that somebody is a very good person. Your opinion, you will also say good. That is what the biased kind of question. See here. Incorrect. Community organizing is hard. Already I am telling it is hard. Now I am asking, do leadership training will help to prepare community organizing? Then your answer will be always according to that. And I am giving the choice. The leadership training prepare me for the community organizing. Then you give the statement with these options. then it sounds good. So that is a correct option. Now, demography question. There are sometimes we make the demo. Now, what is the correct version you say here?
18 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50.
Yes, that is what. Now, suppose somebody is 31, where you will take? First one or the second one? That is why we need to avoid these kind of the things. See? And make the questions very clear. 18 to 30, 31 to 39, that is what is important. Non-specific question also comes. Specific to your work, you have to ask the question. No. So how much do you like the current price of orange juice is the correct one. Rather than asking, do you like orange juice? Because you are doing on the pricing things of the orange. So that's why these things are important. Now you tell me what is this. I'll give some homework for you. What kind of the question is this? Is it a double barrel question, double negative questions, or what kind of the question it is? More people have attended the movie Gone with the Wind than any other motion picture produced in. Have you seen this movie? Yes or no? It is a bias. Have you seen the movie? Then the yes or no is the right answer rather than. Okay. Now, in your opinion, how would you rate the speed and accuracy of your work? Double barrel, because speed is different, accuracy is different. If somebody picks some point, how we can say that that is for the speed or for the accuracy? That is why these kind of the questions, double barrel question. In your opinion, how would you rate the speed of your work or accuracy? Two questions you can put. Here, did you first hear about bombing? Now what is the mistake in this? From a friend or relative. Friend is different from relative. Television, radio. So categories are not mutually exclusive. Did you first hear the bombing from friend, relative? It is very clear here, the choices. How do you feel about the following statement? Now,
Double negative.
double negative, yes. This is a double negative. People grow up with the different types of the family. What type of the family did you grow in? So it is a
Bias.
categories are not too much because there are various categories are there. So we need to put the various categories actually. See the question when you put, there are certain answers also there and answers need to be accurate. This is again the double barrel, nation and the world. So this is all, I'll go a bit faster. Here, ambiguous. Question is not very clear. Got it now? So that is what. Now, this I am not going to draw here. Yes. In publication, the most important thing is the authorship. Why you write somebody's name when they are not contributed? Because they are also writing in their paper my name. And some of the research scholars, what they are doing is, my research scholar is writing other research scholars' name also. And other research scholars' topic is totally different. Now, how they can write that person's name, I don't understand. And being a research scholar, why you have to write somebody who is also a research scholar? Why you are writing your director's name or HOD's name or your somebody's name who is your neighbor or somebody or your colleague or he also works with me because he's not putting research but he helps me in my work environment. So I put his name. Tomorrow anything problem happens with that person's publication, you also sue. You have to pay a huge compensation to the author. So need to be very careful. Don't just say that right unless you read that work and unless you contribute for that work. So here ethical consideration is the most important thing and the authorship. Only those who have made the substantial contribution. Data collection. Somebody is doing data collection of my work, cannot be put their name. Nowadays data collection, there is a third party also does. You pay them, they do that. Is it the right method? Why can't the people go and survey the questionnaire? Why the third party is involved? The people are doing that. That's why I'm asking this kind of the question. A researcher who collected the data cannot be, how we can write his name as the author? Now who will be the author? The group of people who are content. Now can the statistician be an author? He says that this is what you have to use, and statistical analysis when he does and use with the proper interpretation add his name. Just because he saw your work and he says that this is the formula you apply and this is the data this is the software you use, you cannot write that statistician name. Statistician also analyze the data. Once the data comes, he will do the analysis of the data, interpretation also he will help, then you write the statistician name. And guide name. If it is a PhD topic, your guide is only a corresponding author, not the first author. It is your PhD, then you are the first author. But in other paper, you don't need to write guide name. If you are doing some other paper, you don't need to write guide name. You write guide name for every paper till you complete your PhD. After that, you have forgotten your guide. This also happens in many cases. No, if that guide is still in the contact and he is also contributing for the further paper, then why not? If he is sitting somewhere because once upon a time he was my guide, means how to provide to put. No, I also don't put my guide's name unless he contributes for the work. Because he's my guide, okay. During the PhD time I did that. After that we worked for some other paper, that time I wrote his name. Definitely right now also. If he comes and works with me. Otherwise, why we should write their name? Not necessary. And your colleague's name, and colleagues also, please be careful. Tomorrow it will be a problem for you. Nowadays it has become serious matter, publication. I'll give one example of one person. What he did is, one of my friend's article he has stolen. And what he did is, that was already published. He has taken that and he changed only the name. His name he has replaced with her name, and unfortunately the journal where he has sent, she is the editor of that, he was not aware of that. And when she saw that, she made it as a big issue. That person came to the college and cried. He said that if you don't forgive me, I will jump into the river and I will die along with my wife and the son. He was crying, literally was crying, shivering also in the college campus. She took that matter to the college also. She said, I'm not going to leave this matter, but in your college, he was removed from the job. He was directly removed from the job because he has, then they started investigating. There are 8 papers he has published, all the same story. He was immediately removed. Even one crime also they will remove. He was immediately removed from the job. First they thought one paper, so he was demoted. They told that no more promotion and they are sent him to the engineering college humanity department from the MBA. Later they realized that there are so many cases. Then they removed him from the job. So this is all we need to be very careful. That is why conflict of interest is very important, where he is putting my name and in the mail I written that he has written me that I will add your name because of these all the contribution. Then I say that absolutely there is no objection. Unless that comes, you cannot put my name. You cannot say that, sir, I have sent a mail. Whether I have replied? No. My reply comes that there is absolutely no problem, please write my name because I have contributed in this way. Simply we can, that is why conflict of interest is very, very important. You have to ask everybody. Tomorrow they will tell, sir, he has put my name. If they become your enemy in the college, he only written. Any complication happens, they will tell, I don't know only. Then what you will do? That is why you need to take all these considerations from your. They are correct, they are good. But one letter from at least one email stating that we have no objection. What will happen? Because good time they have friends, but and we do not know. Then if the issue happens, then they will tell, I don't know. Credit they will take when it is published, but when problem comes, nobody will be there. Plagiarism. This is one of the most presenting someone else's work as your work without citation. People do that. And presenting somebody's work without reading properly and writing the name. Some people have that habit. They don't read that author's paper. Literature review, their name is there. They don't know that author's paper what name is. But they will write because it is found in others' work. Other are mentioned, so we will also mention. Unless you go through that paper and read. See, now what happened, my student, if they write anybody's name in the public, this one, or the literature, I will tell them to show that article. They have to show me that article. They cannot say that it was there long back, I missed all. From the day they start the research, they have to keep every document in the soft copy or in the form of hard copy. I don't know, you have to show me those literature. You have written somebody's name, show me that article. I will tell them. Otherwise that they cannot write because for my name will be there associated with that he is my student and anything happens I will be in problem. So that's why we need to check all those things. So that is where the ethical consideration is very important. Plagiarism. To avoid the plagiarism, what the people are doing? People are very good at avoiding the plagiarism by using synonyms. She is beautiful, if it is beautiful is called, she is gorgeous. Replaced with that. The people are doing like that. That is not a way. Now gorgeous word in the English dictionary, where it should come, for what it should come, it is there. In your sentence it shows only beautiful. More than that you cannot use any other word. That is how you phrase the sentence. Then if you put that gorgeous, it will be a wrong this one, no? So this plagiarism test, it will tell how much percentage of the plagiarism is done, which of the website you have copied also it shows with the colors. If the 20, 30 are there, 30 has the 30 different kind of the colors and it will clearly show that way. People will do that and they will replace this one sentence. Or sometimes you may be having a question now how to coefficient of path equations. How to change that? Now brand loyalty, can you change as a brand something? Synonyms you cannot use. SPSS, you cannot use the synonyms. Srinivas University also will capture and says that plagiarism now. Any universities. It says that because it is so extensively used, no? Now you cannot change it. Srinivas University instead is other name you can give. You cannot give that. So it is all about what is that captured is the most important thing. What is the turning in as captured is the most important thing than the percentage actually. Our student work will see that what is it captured. Once it is the sentences, the regularly using sentences, then we cannot do anything. We cannot change it, right? Now regression word, what we can write? Synonyms we cannot find out and put something. So like that way there are sometimes it happens like that. And presenting somebody's work without citation. That is what we call it as plagiarism. Data integrity. Altering the data. Result is not coming good. Now what to do? Excel sheet is changed. Some other data is filled. Many people does that. Because the negative results are coming. So what? Why do you want everything to be positive? You should prove that if out of 10 the hypothesis only 2 are accepted, why you are getting 10? That is a path for somebody to do the research now. Somebody who reads your paper will do the research on that field and say that whether it is exactly happens or not. Literature says that there is a positive relationship between A and B, but your work is showing there is a negative relation. Now you are scared. Why? Why not negative? Why you expect that everything should be a positive, everything should have that acceptance? Not necessary. No need to have acceptance always. If it is rejected also fine. And if your many indicator goes off also you are worried. Now the people who are using PLSM, in that you are using 80 questions. Out of 80 questions only 20 questions remains. remaining 60 goes, what will happen? What will happen? You are using PLSM, you collected the data. Out of the 80 datas, 80 questions, when you do the statistical analysis, it will remove 60 questions. Only 20 remains with the data value. Then what is the conclusion? Suppose you collect the data by using 100 questions. Once you get the data, you do the analysis. When you do the analysis, because the threshold value are not met, out of 100, nearly 70 questions are gone. You cannot use it. Now what you will do?
Literature support.
Replacing.
From literature support.
Huh?
Literature support if it is there.
You can do like that. Now my question is, why you are worried if the 70 questions are gone? The parsimony of the model is with the minimum indicator the best model. No? Even though people know that with the minimum indicator the best model, people are scared. When 70 questions disappears, people are telling so many questions are gone. So what? No need to worry about all these things. Maybe your data collection system was wrong, that is why it happens. But what we see here is that data integrity is not there. People, when they come to know that the negative relations are shown, they start adjusting the whole sheet. 5 become 3, 3 become 4, and some other pasting and all those things people are doing. And they say that that is their data. Because they want to adjust according to their wish and whims. According to me, it has to be having a positive relation. So it has not come, so I will adjust the data. It is coming in the negative correlation, I will adjust the data. That is also ethically wrong in the questionnaire thing. Confidentiality. This is also very, very important in the publication. While doing the publication, please see that reviewer should not discuss the content of the manuscript. Now, if I am reviewing Nelson's paper, I should not talk that it has come to me. Here it is, here in the sense, in many places I have seen that you know who is your reviewer. Sir, other than what is that? Once one of my colleagues' thesis has come to me, till date she don't know that I evaluated. Why should I tell her? These are the confidentiality, no? We have to maintain. I am surprised that few candidates are telling it has gone to one Mysore's one professor. How you know it has gone being a candidate? And I am getting a mail from some other college I am telling about. Some colleges, some professors are mailing me saying that they are not, they are just, sir, we are just given our PhD for this one evaluation. Could you please be one of the evaluator? How candidate can send a message to me? If guide is requesting me, there is a meaning. This is not a guide, the candidate is sending me. It happened 3-4 times, it happened to me. I don't reply them, or I may say that only your guide can approach me, not you as a candidate, because the matter is confidentiality. That's what I say. Now I have replied saying that it is a confidential matter. This matter guide must discuss with me, not you. How the candidate has given the permission to do that? And how the candidate can approach somebody for the reviewing their thesis. Lifelong you should not know that who is evaluating your thesis after 30, 40, 50 years of your PhD also. That is a conflict. That means there is something loophole in your system. In the system of the university, whichever the university, there is some loophole is there. That is why people, candidate knows who is their external and internal. And he or she, can't she keep quiet? Why she has to tell with the colleagues? This has gone to that sir and this has gone to this professor. It might create a problem for you. If you come to know also, keep quiet. Don't tell anybody. She is my friend, so I told. All those are not working. Even friend is not necessary to tell. No. Is it something matter which is necessary to talk to friends? These are the confidential. So keep quiet, don't tell. Some people tell that also. And candidate knows who is there externally. My PhD, I really don't know who is evaluated my thesis internally, externally, or foreign university also. Really, I don't know, and I don't want to know also now after so many years also. So, not necessary. That is what the confidentiality is very important. And if I am a reliever, I am telling Nelson, your thesis has come to me. I don't think so. I have to tell with him, whoever it is. So this is what the confidentiality one should. Even when your paper comes for me to review, see that candidate I told she, because her paper only came to her, she's a reviewer. That is the time she took it very seriously. Otherwise, so many papers comes to her for the review. She never tells whose paper. I also never tell. I have reviewed many papers, but I don't even tell. Sometimes our own university's paper comes, but we never talk about all this. Confidentiality need to be maintained. Duplicate publication. 2-3 journals you are submitting. This also there. Little bit title changes. Agriculture is good for, agriculture is best for domestic animals, one article. Another same content, it is agriculture is good for cows and buffaloes. Same, but the title is changed like this over. This is what the people are doing. Many times we are seeing such kind of the same work, again they are publishing with the different titles. You can't do that. It is also ethical consideration. When doing the publication, submitting the same research paper to 2-3 different journals without informing the editor is a violation. That is also wrong. Now 3 journals are there. I will send for the 3 journals. Which one get published, then the remaining 2 I will say don't publish. That is wrong. One time, one publisher only you have to send. Once they reject the next one, you cannot send 3-4 places and thinking that after 3-4 places, one accept the remaining 2 and say I am not interested in the publication in your journal. You cannot do that. If you are caught, then it becomes a serious offense then. That is also happens at the end moment, because each editor is spending a lot of money on the reviewer and the process, and that become a waste. So one paper to the one journal. Once the reply comes from them, then you decide whether to send it for the others or not. So that is what the duplication of the publication. Peer review. Reviewers should not use their review process to promote their own work on the agenda. This is also own work. You cannot do that. Then citations. Authors should accurately cite all the sources used in the research, including data, ideas, and text. That's what I told. Everything should be there. Even the article what you are referred should be there with you. You cannot say that deleted, gone, and all those things. Properly citing the work of the other demonstrates the respect for the intellectual. Yeah, that is what. If you are referring my article, you have to write my name, which year it is published, article name, journal name, volume, all those things should come, number, everything should come. Then only it is considered the best practice. This is the correction. It always comes for the various corrections on. In the publication, it is also very important to do the If you are having any questions, please ask me questions. Questions? No questions. Just that's it. Ask. Right. Not even my student stands very well. I ask questions. I don't like all these things. Anybody standing here. We all say there's no difference. We are human beings. So I don't want anybody to stand here. Now, good journal in the sense, there are scopus. The journal which is related to the scopus is journal, and most of the premium institute are more worried about ABDC by the management faculty. If you are a commerce faculty, management faculty, please publish in the ABDC, not in the Scopus. Scopus, there are a good number of journals, but Scopus is more towards the science field, not towards the management. Now, management related ABDC. ABDC journals are the very good journal. That too, A-star journal is the top most, followed by A, B, and C, and the last one is the D. So, you see that those journals in the ABC, then the Scopus matches, then only you publish in that. So that both the target is fulfilled. Tomorrow when you leave here and go somewhere, if they say only Scopus, you can show that this is also there. If they ask ABDC, it is there. So some journals shades, it comes in between Venn diagrams. So that journal you have to see. ABDC list you will get when you download. When you download, you will get the ABDC list also. When even the Scopus list also, you will come. Scopus, you have your own IDs, right? Once you publish, you will get the ID. One article, if you publish, you will get a Scopus ID, and in that you can see that your H index or the most important is the H index, the citation. There also people are playing some games. I'll tell you all, see, write in my name in your my article name. So the citation will go high. This kind of the things also there. That is there, but we, whatever it is, but we must see that our H index is going good. Because nowadays in the appointment they will tell that to become a professor, 25 publications with the H index more than 20, like that all they will ask. Now they started all these kind of things. For the assistant professor, at least 5 publications with the H index of 7, I think, so something like that. Getting that 7 only difficult being a professors. So their expectation is too high. But that happens in the science field. See, the science field publication is different from the management field publication. Every day, one case, the doctor can write a paper. It is handled in a different ways, different. Same treatment and the response of the body for the different people. Then he can write a paper. They have their PhD student who will help them. So that's why some people publish a good article in the science field all. Thousands of articles in a year only KMC produces in our college. And that too good journals they will produce that. So theirs is a great contribution to the publication of the science field. Management, same thing here and there, changing. Both are doing the ghee roast chicken, but ingredient are here and there, 1 or 2 things are different. Then they produce. That's what happens sometimes. But it is not like that. There are great publications also, especially in the financial econometrics out there, no? In that econometrics, people have done a very good papers on. For that, you need to have a strong finance and economics knowledge, econometrics knowledge, not economics, econometrics knowledge. Then only you can have a good papers in that. Marketing also, there are good papers. There is nothing like we don't have. Any other questions? Yes, lovely. Yeah. Predatory journals or the clone journals are quite common. Now one journal is named the Scopus, which are disconnected with that Scopus, then somebody will publish in that and they will take the money. Now when the people are giving money, small amount, how good that journal is? Why you are paying for those journals? Of course there are best journal of the world also ask the money, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs all. That is also there. Without paying, some journals will not, because that is the best journal. But they want the money. That is why we do the publication. Yeah, but they publish. But it does not mean that I am ready to give 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs, they will publish. Unless your work goes to that level, those journals will not publish. They will also see that your work is excellent. Then no, otherwise the desk rejection will happen. The day you send, immediately the desk rejection happens. If your paper is good, they will go through that, reviewers comment again and again, working, then paying. That is not like that, I will pay today the 2 lakhs and in another 10 days they will publish. They will not publish. They don't want your money to get published. Only some journals, which are great journals, they will take the time, they will see that your article is the best article, then only they will take money and publish. That processing fees and so many things are there, no? For the reviewer, they have to pay the money. Processing, they have a lot of things. So So that's why they charge. But that is for people it is too much. 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs. For the foreign university professors it is not like that. You should collaborate with the foreign university and do that. No? Why don't you do collaboration with the foreign university professors and do the publication? They have their separate funding also for the publication. So they get the funding which they will pay. But if you are a good researcher, you can join hand with them. But you have to work. If you work, and if you are working with them, now for example, the whole work is yours and their contribution is less, they will retain you as a first author. But corresponding they will take in case if they pay money. If they pay the money 2 lakhs all, they will take the corresponding. But first author they will give you one. That is also, yeah, that's fine actually. Collaborative research is more encouraged now. More and more we are interested. They will just, no, I am doing all my publication with the foreign author only from Sony. I will connect you if you want some foreign authors. I can talk to them and I can connect you. If you are really doing good work, or let me know. Then we will connect with them and they will. It is all with the connection it happens. No? See, I am heading the international relation in our university, where I am sending many students to the foreign countries. Foreign country people are coming here. Foreigners from Afghanistan and Ghana and Europe also came here for doing the PhDs all. So we have a good connection with them. And we have the semester exchange program where one semester student go to the different universities in Netherlands, Utrecht University or France or any school of business or other colleges also. So that is how we got connected with them. We do international conference in collaboration with them. So many things happens. No? That is how I got connected with those people. And that's how I do the publication. But if you are interested, let me know. If your work is really good, where I also feel that I can contribute for the further development, or we can start with a new work. If you are interested, let me know. We'll start with a new work and we'll develop it as a paper. We'll collaborate with the foreign university also. Then we'll make a publication. See that my talk will not end here. Something contribution will come to you also. See, I'm not just contributing. Benefit for me also. You work and I work and that's good actually. Free of cost, I'm not taking you. Free of cost, you are not taking. So we can work. We'll think in that end. Provided we should have interest in research. Now, the most important thing in the research is the interest, which people don't have. 90% are compulsion kind of the research they are doing, not with interest. That is normal in many places. You take an interest, you start reading. Problem is reading. People are not ready to read. One article in a week also people don't read. Forget about one in one day. Any other questions? There are old people who will read one day one novel. One day one novel they are ready to read every day. But the faculties don't read. Any questions? No questions. In my own house I see that my mother is a voracious reader of Kannada novel. Per day one novel. That much I too don't read. 300, 400 pages novel. Every day she reads. Every day without fail. Otherwise she will uncomfortable. And her qualification is very nice and her pay. And she reads more than me. I am a PhD holder. that's what I'm telling, that much I don't read. 300 pages of novels per day. I also find difficult to read that much. Any questions? I think this Saturday, Friday is the last for you, and one of my colleagues, Dr. Lakshmi Narayanan, is going to come here. He's also a very good researcher. I'm sure that you're going to enjoy. Gave a chance to actually one of my another colleague, Smita Naik. She was giving some problems. She said she can't. So Lakshmi Narayanan is coming. He and I joined Manipal same year. We are all there with the same university from past 25 years. I'm with the same university from past 25 years. That shows how good that university is. Never. Yogesh Bhai is BCA. He is also my colleague. He is also BCA. He is also a great researcher. He does a good work. Yeah, he is also a great researcher. I am Lakshmi Narayanan. Yogesh had been my student. In my institute, there are nearly 20 students, 20-25 students who study in the same institute, and now they are my colleagues. That's why I enjoy them a lot. 25 students are the faculties in my department whom I taught. It's a nice place actually. They all are good. But never take the advantage of being the teacher. My work I will do, they will take it. They are friendly. Any questions on research? How 2 hours the same person will be boring? Huh? Yeah, please feel free to contact me, take my number and call me, fix an appointment with me, because now I am on vacation. I can help you. I am on a 2 months vacation here. So I don't go to Manipal at that time. So I'll be at home. Call me, we'll meet and discuss if you are interested. No more questions. I must say thank you very much for your patience to listening to me. And research is always been dry for the people. It's not like a psychology subject or sociology subject. Thank you very much. Very nice. I'll stand.
Sir, wow, your talk was so insightful. It really got us thinking and it was deeply impactful. You have given us solid strategies about research practice. On behalf of the whole organizing team, our amazing faculty and everyone here, a massive heartfelt thank you for sharing your time and your brilliant mind and your deep expertise with us today. Your day contribution has made Day 3 of our faculty development program not just insightful but genuinely game-changing. I now request Professor Shishmita, HOD, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, Institute of Management and Commerce, Srinivas University, to kindly present a token of gratitude to Dr. Suhan Mentor. Please give a big round of applause. Thank you, ma'am. With that, we concluded this powerful session that has set the tone for the rest of the FDP. Best regards, as host of FDP program, Professor